ADHD is a common diagnosis, with more and more people of every age being given the term to encompass a way that the brain works atypically. In this video, we're going to explore what ADHD is and look at natural ways of navigating it, so you're best able to manage the symptoms that come along with it. Hello, and welcome to 5 Pillars Health, the channel where we show you the best ways to get healthy and stay healthy through the 5 pillars of sleep, hydration, nutrition, movement, and sunlight. ADHD is commonly misunderstood and can be mixed up with ADD. ADD, otherwise known as attention deficit disorder, is actually the outdated term for what is now known as ADHD. They are essentially the same diagnosis. ADHD stands for Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. It is usually found in children, but more and more adults are being diagnosed as the condition is becoming more understood. The most basic symptoms include trouble focusing, impulsive behaviours, fatigue, and more. Let's start with how ADHD is typically diagnosed and the symptoms to look out for if you think you, or someone you know, might have been living with it. In children, the most common symptoms are very forgetful and tend to lose things frequently, daydream a lot and tend to lose focus easily, squirm or fidget and may have tics or bad habits like nail biting, etc. Talk too much, make careless mistakes, cannot resist temptation, can have difficulty getting along with others. Many children with ADHD were overlooked because they tended to not suffer academically in school. If children passed their yearly tests, they were considered normal. ADHD can present in adulthood and cause problems with work, home life, and relationships. The same symptoms can occur in adults, but may present differently because adults have learned to mask their symptoms to function in society. Restlessness is a common adult ADHD symptom, whilst others may include impulsivity, disorganization, bad time management, frequent mood swings, low frustration tolerance, problems finishing tasks, bad temper, inability to cope with stress. If you think you or your child or loved one may struggle with one of the aforementioned symptoms, it's best to get diagnosed by a licensed psychologist or psychiatrist to rule out any other possible reasons. If this video is helpful for you, please tap the like button. It helps us out a huge amount. ADHD can also be commonly confused with autism, as they both sit on the neurodivergent spectrum. Neurotypical and neurodivergent are two terms used to describe how the human brain works. Neurotypical is not a professional medical term, but is used to describe people whose brains function normally. Neurodivergent is used to describe people's brains that function atypically or abnormally. Although autism and ADHD are separate disorders, they can share similar symptoms. Some people can also have both autism and ADHD. People with ADHD have trouble focusing on something for long periods of time and may get distracted easily. In contrast, people with autism have limited interests and usually obsess over the things that they enjoy. Autistic people may also easily remember facts and details about the very things they are obsessing over. People with ADHD will talk continually, whilst autistic people will have more difficulty expressing themselves at all, struggle with eye contact, and find social interaction a bit more difficult. ADHD people can become bored quickly and crave change, whilst autistic people will demand consistency and repetition of the same thing. ADHD can also be categorized into subtypes, predominantly inattentive presentation, struggling to finish a task, paying attention to detail, following instructions and conversations, predominantly hyperactive impulsive presentation, fidgeting, talking a lot, difficulty sitting still for long, restlessness, combined presentation, a combination of the above symptoms. Now that we know what ADHD is and how it presents itself, we can look at the causes behind ADHD. There are many different interpretations for what causes ADHD. Research does indicate that genetics may play a role, so if one of your parents suffers from the condition, you may be likely to suffer from it too. Other suggested causes include brain injuries, exposure to environmental toxins during pregnancy or infancy, and premature delivery. Other research shows that a reduction in dopamine is a factor in ADHD, as those with the conditions seem to display levels significantly lower than those without the condition. Dopamine is a brain chemical that helps send signals between nerves. It helps regulate emotional responses as well as movement. Some experts say the structural makeup of an ADHD brain is different because it has less grey matter volume. Grey matter plays a role in the function of speech, self-control decisions, and muscle control. Revered expert Dr. Gabor Mate, whose research on ADHD and other disorders is widely circulated, suggests that ADHD is reversible because it stems from family and social stress during a child's developmental years. He believes that by dealing with the root causes of ADHD, which almost always lie in trauma, we can reverse the condition entirely. There are many ways to manage the symptoms that come with ADHD. The two most common medications used to treat ADHD are categorized into stimulants and non-stimulants. Stimulants, or central nervous system (CNS) stimulants, are the ones most commonly prescribed. They work by increasing the amount of dopamine and norepinephrine in the brain. Examples include Ritalin, methylphenidate, and Adderall, amphetamine. Some people may see adverse side effects whilst on stimulants. Non-stimulant ADHD medication like atomoxetine and antidepressants increase norepinephrine without the side effects of a stimulant drug. We at 5 Pillars always advocate for the most natural remedies, whilst still recognizing that some people may still need pharmaceutical intervention. Whether or not you're treating ADHD with pharmaceuticals, natural remedies can still and should play a role in managing symptoms. If you're enjoying our videos, please consider subscribing to our channel. Eating a healthy and balanced diet is key to making sure our brain health and nerve signals are in tip-top shape. If our brain is being fed with all the right nutrients, we're less likely to see an exacerbation in any pre-existing neurodivergent symptoms. Finding any potential food allergies or intolerances will also keep inflammation and brain inflammation at bay. Regular physical activity is another way to naturally combat ADHD symptoms. Physical exertion has long been shown to improve brain activity and signaling. Not to mention that playing certain sports can give an advantage to people with ADHD because of their ability to multitask and hyper-focus. Yoga and Tai Chi have been shown to particularly aid those with ADHD as it calms the mind. Getting enough quality sleep is non-negotiable for all areas of your health. When we're tired or underslept, our brain is sluggish and slow, and we're less likely to produce any good chemicals, including dopamine. Limiting screen time is another natural way to make sure ADHD is well supported. It's very easy to get distracted, and our phones are always making that distraction a lot easier to access. Excessive screen time exacerbates an ADHD brain's inability to regulate itself and finish important tasks for the day. Mindfulness and meditation will also help calm the mind of an ADHD person. It's very easy to get overwhelmed if you have ADHD, and regularly incorporating meditation or mindfulness allows ADHDers to get through their day by completing important tasks without becoming overwhelmed. Saffron has recently been shown to be more effective at treating ADHD in children and adults than pharmaceutical drugs. Saffron has anti-inflammatory and antioxidant properties and has been previously used to treat arthritis, cancer, Alzheimer's, and inflammatory bowel diseases. Saffron works by stimulating dopamine, norepinephrine, and other neurotransmitters associated with ADHD. Patients taking saffron for their ADHD have seen improvements in emotion, cognition, behaviour, and sleep. Caffeine is another natural remedy used to treat ADHD symptoms. People with ADHD suffer from lower than normal dopamine. For normal people, consuming caffeine can push their already normal dopamine levels too high, causing anxiety and jitters. For the ADHD brain, adding caffeine can push low levels into a normal range, mimicking stimulants like amphetamines. This is, of course, only a natural remedy for adults with ADHD, as children and teens may see adverse effects from consuming caffeine. L-theanine is a natural compound most commonly found in green tea and matcha, which may help treat ADHD because it improves attention and focus whilst simultaneously calming the mind. Users report that having L-theanine and caffeine together is a super combo for managing an ADHD brain. Try having green tea or matcha lattes to get both the caffeine and L-theanine. Aside from supplements and other lifestyle factors used to manage ADHD, many people with the condition use a tool known as dopamine dressing. Clothing with specific textures and colors are visual and tactile stimulants that act like mood boosters. For people with ADHD, it can make a difference to how productive they are when they like what they're wearing and feel good in what they're wearing. If you have ADHD, we hope this video helped you better understand your condition whilst suggesting helpful ways to manage it. If you know someone who has it, why not send them this video and help a fellow ADHDer out? Have you found something to help ADHD that we may have missed? Let us know in the comments below.